else, and the Western Empire, as it always has done, always works through proxies, and they always try to hide their hand. And like it's not just Israel, it's not just Ukraine, it's Azerbaijan. Very, very recently, they announced a military cooperation agreement between Britain and Kazakhstan. And then in February, they announced a military cooperation agreement between Great Britain and the government of Bosnia-Herzegovina, because they decided, the next front in the war between Russia and the West is going to be the Balkans, inevitably.
The Balkans have always been Europe's powder keg. If London and Brussels are quietly preparing for escalation there, we may be looking at a dangerous revival of Cold War proxy logic, one that the region can ill afford to relive.
This is what RUSI, the Royal United Services Institute in London, openly declared. So this business of arson attacks against peace, wherever they can, is continuing, and it's always emanating from London. And so then when you look at the way they act and the way they hide their hands, it's always the same thing. So they come with these military attachés, and they they work with the target country's security services, and then they come with charities and NGOs and private contractors, and they start helping with education and modernizing the media and modernizing the markets and massaging the public relations. So you have a company called Albany Associates, for example, one of these private contractors. And Albany Associates is very active in Bosnia. And today, 60% of the Bosniaks think that the greatest threat to them is coming from Russia, which makes no sense whatsoever. But they're feeding them manure through the media nonstop. And, people, they don't know what's going on. They read the newspapers and they say, well, these Russians, they're terrible people. They're really dangerous. Good thing the British are here to help us out, And these same Albany Associates earned their war stripes in Syria previously. So they've been working the Syrian opposition to undermine the government of Bashar al-Assad. And they've been doing this since 2012. And now there's been more than 1 million casualties in Syria. This is their business. This is what they do nonstop everywhere for more than 2 centuries now.
What Krainer's laying out is a pattern, one that's deeply entrenched, quietly executed, and rarely acknowledged by mainstream narratives. It's less about conspiracy and more about institutional habit. When you connect the dots across time and geography, it becomes clear. Foreign policy for some empires has always been about projection and control, not peace or principle. The tragedy is how many ordinary people pay the price for that silence.